Welcome back to 5 Minutes STEM. In today's video we're going to be doing some basics of C++ programming, and I'm going to be using this online C++ compiler which can be found at onlinegdb.com. And so as you can see, these basic lines are the framework for all C++ programs. You have the include IO stream using namespace std, int main, these brackets, and the return 0 statement. And then all the contents that are found between the lines could include variable declarations, statements, executable statements, programmer comments, etc. So I think what we'll do is just a very basic username program where somebody is asked to enter their first name, their last name, some given whole number, and then it prints out a username for them. Alrighty, so we're going to need two integer variables. So we'll do int num and code. And again, an integer is just a whole number. And then we're going to have strings, which are groups of characters. So one to hold your first name, and then one to hold the last name. And then we're going to have our statements and executable statements, which are essentially instructions that tell the computer what to do and when to do it. So we'll first ask the user to enter their first name. Enter your first name when prompted. Then we're telling the program to take that value that the user entered and store it in the fname variable. So let's do the same thing for last name. And again, store it in the variable name for last name. Now let's have the user enter a whole number. And then we'll store that in num. Now let's just perform some basic math on the value for num. Let's do num times num. And then let's print out, I guess, the username. So we'll say your username is, we're going to concatenate fname and last name, and then we're going to bring in code. And now notice how I was able to do the plus signs for the concatenation for fname and lname. That's because those are both strings. And then I had to do these two cout symbols for code, because code is an integer. You would have an error if you did the plus code. So now let's run it. So it's prompting the user for their first name. So let's say John, last name Smith. Let's do 12. And then your username is John Smith 144. Okay, simple enough. And now it may be helpful in many cases to just add some comments throughout your program. So you can just do these two backslashes, and we'll just say variable declarations, prompt the user for their first name. So anything that is commented out will not be, actually performed in the program, and it's really just for, your own purposes and understanding what each part of the code is really for. So let's say store user's first name in a variable. Okay, prompt the user for their last name. And store the user's last name in a variable. Okay, so you get the picture. I think this is it for this very basic introduction into C++ programming, and you can find all of this at the link below. I will attach a link to our website that kind of goes through these steps and explains them a little bit more. So make sure to check that out, and thanks for watching.